The boardroom was silent, save for the soft hum of the air conditioner. Miranda Lang, the sharp-witted CEO of Langtech Enterprises, tapped her manicured fingers on the glass table, her eyes flicking impatiently at the man standing before her. "You know, I've seen a lot of mechanics claim they can fix anything," she said, her tone dripping with condescension. "But here's a challenge. Fix this engine." She gestured to the sleek, custom-built machine that had been gathering dust in the corner, and "I'll marry you." The words hung in the air like a storm cloud. Andrew Harris, the mechanic she had mocked in front of her board and staff, felt the weight of every eye on him. He was lean, quiet, and meticulous. A man who had built his reputation in a world that often overlooked men like him. Black, working class, talented beyond measure, but always underestimated. Andre didn't flinch. He knelt beside the engine, his hands moving with careful precision. "I'll fix it," he said simply. No bravado, no bitterness. Just determination. The room erupted in laughter at first, whispers of disbelief rippling through the boardroom. "You're serious?" One of her executives scoffed. "That engine's been broken for months. Even our top engineers gave up." Andrew ignored them. Hour after hour, he disassembled the machinery, analyzing each part, testing each circuit until every component was accounted for. Miranda, who had initially smirked at him, watched as his skill became impossible to deny. Hours turned into a full day, and still, he didn't look up from his work. Meanwhile, outside the garage bay that had been converted into a test lab, Miranda felt a strange mix of admiration and frustration. She had thought this would be a spectacle, a humiliating moment to reinforce her control. Instead, she found herself drawn to the quiet confidence Andrew exuded. He wasn't performing for her approval. He was simply excelling at what he loved. By the next morning, Andre had not only fixed the engine, he had transformed it. The machine purred with flawless precision, a feat no one in the company had thought possible. The board, who had mocked him alongside Miranda, fell silent as the engine roared to life under Andrew's hands. Miranda's smirk faltered, replaced by a glance she couldn't quite hide. A mix of respect, disbelief, and something deeper. She walked toward him, her steps measured. "Didn't think you could do it?" she admitted, her voice softer than before. You really did." Andrew wiped the grease from his hands and looked up at her. "I didn't do it for your challenge," he said calmly. "I did it because it needed to be done." The unspoken tension between them was palpable, but the real shock came when the engine sparked a revelation for the company. Langtech had been negotiating $1 billion deal that hinged on this very technology. Andre's unexpected success didn't just prove his skill, it saved the company. Without hesitation, the investors greenlit the deal, praising the innovation that Andre had unlocked. Miranda faced a choice she hadn't expected. Her reputation as a ruthless, unshakable CEO now hung alongside a personal reckoning. She had mocked Andre, underestimated him, and yet here he was, the savior of her empire. In that moment, she realized the harsh lesson she had tried to teach him, one she herself needed to learn: arrogance can blind even the most powerful. Andre didn't wait for gratitude or promises. He packed up his tools and left, leaving Miranda to stare after him, contemplating the pride and prejudice that had guided her choices. Weeks later, she found herself reaching out, not with challenges or dares, with an honest acknowledgement of his brilliance and her own humility. In the end, it wasn't a marriage proposal that defined their connection, respect earned and trust rebuilt. Andre continued his work now as a celebrated engineer, while Miranda learned that leadership wasn't about power over others. It was about recognizing and lifting up the talents around her, no matter their background. The story of the mechanic and the CEO became a legend in corporate circles, a reminder that genius can appear in the most unexpected places and that humility is the strongest engine of all. And in that quiet revelation, a lesson emerged for everyone watching. True greatness isn't in mockery or status. It's in skill, perseverance, and the courage to rise above prejudice, no matter who doubts you.